Alright, back with another album review. Today's review is about an album from a band that not a lot of people know about. This band in particular is called Grey Daze. Grey Daze was a post-grunge band from Phoenix, Arizona. It was actually Chester Bennington's original band from long before he joined Linkin Park. Grey Daze recorded a demo album in '93 along with 2 studio albums, Wake Me in '94 and No Sun Today in '97. Chester ended up leaving the band in '98 to join what would later be known as Linkin Park. Of course, I already reviewed all the albums from Linkin Park last year. Anyways, I'm going to be talking about the band's most recent album titled Amends. Now, before we get into this, I need to mention that Grey Daze were planning a reunion in 2017, but the reunion never happened because of the untimely passing of Chester. Now, production on this album started in January of 2017. At the time, the album was to be titled New Sun Tomorrow. It was later changed to Amends. June of 2017 was when bassist Mace Bayers announced that this album would be a remaster of No Sun Today. They tried remastering this album in the past through Artemis Records in 2003, but this never happened due to a conflict with lawyers from Linkin Park's record label, Warner Brothers Records, which basically prohibited the release of the album. Rather, the original versions of Grey Daze's first 2 albums were on iTunes until 2005, but were eventually removed. Now, this is because Warner Brothers Records viewed this as, quote, a competing product to Linkin Park, whose discography arrived to iTunes the following year. Now, after Chester had passed away, his widow, Talinda, had given Grey Daze permission to proceed with this project on the condition that Chester's vocals were unchanged. This means that what you hear on this album is actually Chester's original vocals from the late 90s, but new instrumentals. This album was recorded at NRG Studios in North Hollywood, which is actually where Linkin Park's albums were recorded. The songs all had different producers working on them: S.J. Jones, Lucas D'Angelo, Chris Traynor, Kyle Hoffman, Alex Aldi, Cass Dillon, Pete Nappy, and Lucio Rubino. Granted, each of the songs only had 1, 2, or even 3 producers working on them. The executive producers were Jay Baumgartner and Renee Mata. The lyrics were all written by Chester Bennington and Sean Dowdell. Of course, the vocals were all done by Chester, while Sean was on drums. You also have Mace Bayers on bass, while Kristen Davis is on guitar. There are also some additional musicians. First of all, you have Chris Traynor on guitar for a soul song, Sometimes Just Like Heroin and What's in the Eye. Of course, most people know Chris for being the lead guitarist for Bush and Institute. He's also worked with Helmet and Orange 9mm, and I think it's really awesome that he ended up working with Grey Daze. I should follow him on Twitter, and he's a really awesome guy. Anyways, Brian Welch was on guitar for B12 and She Shines. James Schaefer was also on guitar for B12. She Shines also has Jason Rauch and Marcus Curiel on guitars. John Vess, D'Angelo, had played piano on Moray Sky and Soul Song. All the piano recordings were done in Studio St. Louis over in Paris. Jamie Mahobarek plays keyboard on Just Like Heroin and Sometimes. I know that he's worked with Bush in the past. We also have Heidi Gadd on strings for Moray Sky and Soul Song. Now, this album was released on June 26, 2020 under Loma Vista Recordings. It was originally going to be released on April 10th, but the release got pushed back because of the pandemic. Now, let's talk about the songs. The song starts with Sickness. This song was released as a single on February 6, 2020. What's really awesome is that the song features Paige Hamilton on guitar. Most people know Paige for being the lead singer of Helmet, I mentioned in the past that he's also worked with Institute and 9 Inch Nails. I do think this is a great song. It actually sets a tone for what we're in for. Sometimes after that, the song was released as a single on April 3rd, 2020. Followed that up with What's in the Eye. It's actually the first single from this album. And it's released on January 16th, 2020. And when the single was released, it gave a lot of people a taste of what was to come for this album. After hearing it the first time, I got excited because I wanted to hear more, but we had to wait until the release of the album. After that is The Syndrome, which features Cara Faye performing backing vocals, along with Karsten Dowdell on drums. In Time comes after that. No, I don't have much to say about this song. Just Like Heroin comes next. And this is the heaviest song on this album. It's also my favorite song on the album, even though it wasn't released as a single. The next song is Beat 12, which was released as a single on June 12th, 2020, so 2 weeks before the album. The song in particular features Brennan Bocard on drums. And after that is Soul Song, which was released as a single on May 15th, 2020. The song is rather special because since it features Jamie Bennington, one of Chester's sons, performing backing vocals. I just think it's really cool that the producers brought him in for that. Moray Sky and She Shines come after that. These are both really good songs. Some ends with Shouting Out, which features backing vocals from Laura Pergolizzi. Pergolizzi. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, one thing I need to mention is that the Japanese version features acoustic versions of What's in the Eye and Sometimes. As you can see, neither of those songs are on this version of the album. Now, the Japanese version also includes a DVD containing behind the scenes 1 and 2, a Grey Daze documentary, track by track, and the music videos for What's in the Eye and Sickness. Of course, all this stuff can be found on the band's YouTube channel, which I'm going to link in the description. There you also find lyric videos, as well as the making of each song. One it seems that this album was received very well from critics, and rightfully so. I couldn't find anything on how this album did perform commercially, though. Overall, this is a really good album. I'll even go as far as to call it one of the best albums of the year. Along with the new albums from Bush, Deftones, and Pearl Jam. I highly recommend this album, and I think it may open the door for people to track down the older material from Grey Daze. Not sure where to find the older albums, but I may have to resort to eBay or possibly check out any flea markets or CD stores in my area, since those albums are only available on CD. Not completely sure if Grey Daze are going to re-release or those older albums or re-record them, but only time will tell. Now, this part where I question you. Have you listened to this album? If so, what do you think of it? What's your favorite song from this album? Will this album open the door for you to track down the band's older material? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching, I'll be back soon with another video.